Hey there guys, Portal Master here, and in today's video I want to talk about Skylanders Academy. Specifically, if Skylanders the game was to come back, could Skylanders Academy return? Let's get into this. Before we dive into whether or not Academy could return, let's dive a little bit into the history of Skylanders Academy. Back in 2015, at an investors conference, Activision announced intentions of making Skylanders Academy, which would be a television series that would air on Netflix. Initially, they announced that it was going to be a 2-season deal, so seasons 1 and 2 were basically instantly announced. Originally, this was intended to be released like in the middle of 2016, but it ended up being delayed until the fall of 2016, at which point season 1 was released. Prior to Academy coming out back in 2012, it was actually rumored that they were interested in developing a film series or a television series of some type, as Activision had actually pursued a film studio prior to that for some of their other properties, which I think eventually one of the other products of that was the Warcraft movie that was made in 2016 or 2018. I can't remember when that movie came out. So essentially, Skylanders Academy continued in development. The first 2 seasons were run by the showrunner Eric Rogers. The 3rd season was run by a different showrunner who was hired after Eric Rogers left midway through. After the 1st season came out, it was immediately renewed for a 2nd season, as season 2 had already been in production prior to season 1's release. Season 2 then came out, and then very shortly thereafter, or it might have even been before season 2 came out, I honestly don't remember all the details, Skylanders Academy season 3 was announced and was renewed for a 3rd season, at which point season 3 went through in 2018. So essentially you ended up with a 3-season TV show that ran from 2016 to 2018. This has always been kind of funny to me since Skylanders Imaginators was the final Skylanders game, and it came out in 2016, and then for the next 2 years there were no official Skylanders releases, but Skylanders Academy still came out. I always thought that was kind of funny. Rumor has it that the 4th season of Skylanders Academy was canned, largely due to the fact that Activision did not want to continue on with Skylanders Academy after the mainline franchise had actually already been canceled. As well, a lot of people I think have said that they didn't want to cause confusion by having multiple Spyros, although I've never been able to validate that theory, so I don't actually know if that is true or not. Nonetheless, what we do know is that Skylanders Academy ran for 3 seasons and was pretty decent. Like, the first 2 seasons were pretty good. Some people, including myself, really were not a fan of the 3rd season. Personally, I think that the 2nd showrunners that came in and tried to run it after Eric Rogers left did not do as good of a job, and that's why, to me, season 2 is the best season of Skylanders Academy, and season 3 was probably the worst. But again, that's just my personal opinion. You can have your own opinions on that matter. So it was understandably a very sad day when we learned that Skylanders Academy Season 4 would not actually be happening. It would have come out in 2019, presumably, if it had been a thing, and it's been officially announced, that it was not renewed. But now that we have rumors of Skylanders the game actually returning, could Skylanders Academy also come back? The answer to that, I think, is a little complex. See, Skylanders, again, had been talking about having a TV series for quite some time before it actually came out. I think 2012, again, is the earliest mention that we hear about a Skylanders film or a Skylanders TV show. And it took, 4 years for that to manifest itself. And I think a lot of people agree that Academy should have been created much, much, much earlier than it actually was. I think a lot of people think that if Academy had been aired, when Giants was around or when Swap Force was around, it would have been a lot more successful than when it eventually came out. I've always wondered how long Academy was planned. I've always wondered if they planned to, start doing Academy back in like 2012 when Giants came out, or if they really didn't decide to do Academy until like the Trap Team era. It's always been interesting to me because, again, it came out so late in the franchise's lifespan, and it's always also been interesting how they planned multiple seasons of it out when they knew sales were declining, and it's always been an interesting situation to me with Academy. But that doesn't address the main thing. Would it come back if there was a new game? I think that there is probably a pretty low chance of it coming back immediately, and here's why. See, games like Lightseekers and games like Starlink, which are also similar Toys to Life games, ended up fizzling out pretty quickly after they were created. I can imagine it would not be very good if Activision spent, a lot of money making another season for Skylanders Academy, and then they release the game doesn't do well, and the franchise drops off the face of the earth again. I'm sure it's really not hard to imagine why that would be a really bad situation for Activision, to invest so much money only to have something completely fail. So I think that if they tried to bring back a Skylanders TV series, they would probably release the first game and then see how it does. And if it does well, they'll probably bring it back. And I think that there's actually strong reasoning for them to bring back the TV series, again, only if the game does well, because of how well the TV series actually did. The TV series did quite well considering that it came in towards the end of the Skylanders franchise. And I think that if they had done it, much earlier on in the franchise's history, I think that it would have been great advertising for the series at large. And honestly, it's a shame they released it when they did, because if they had released it earlier, again, I really think it would have been so much more popular and would have helped the franchise overall. So, like, for instance, let's say that they decided to bring back Skylanders in 2021. The earliest I think we would see any form of Skylanders television media revival would be 2023. I think it would be about a 2-year turnaround for any type of new Skylanders media. Personally, that's my theory. Now, again, they could surprise us if these rumors are true about the games coming back and they brought Skylanders back in 2021, maybe they do some type of cross-promotion. Maybe they have some kind of, Skylanders Academy Season 4 planned coming out of the blue to help promote the game. I don't think that's what they would do, but there would be a possibility of it. But more likely than a Skylanders Academy Season 4, I think a brand new TV series would be even more likely. And here's why. Like, look at Pokemon. Every time a new Pokemon game comes out, they essentially start a brand new series of Pokemon. It has some of the same characters, but by and large, it's got new characters that it introduces. I think that this is what would most likely happen if there was a Skylanders TV media revival. There would be a new series that would start, directed by new people, with new voice actors, and a new overall plot, a new theme, a new graphical style. You get the idea. As you can see with Skylanders Academy Season 3, it really wasn't the same without Eric Rogers directing it. And it really is such a shame that that's the case. My point being is I think if they try to create a Season 4 for Academy, it would not have the same vibe as the original 3 seasons, especially since it would most likely have a brand new showrunner and would have taken place so many years after the previous one. I mean, this is probably the last year they could have just picked up the franchise and kept going with it. Maybe next year, if they brought back Eric Rogers, they could somehow cobble together a Season 4 that still felt like the original, but honestly, I don't think that they would. I think that most likely, if they ever create a new type of Skylanders, film, if they ever create a new TV show, it's going to be an original series completely unrelated to Academy. That's my personal opinion, and again, we don't even know if the Skylanders games rumors are even real, and if those aren't real, then don't expect an Academy or any type of Skylanders media return anytime soon. But if they are, I do think a brand new TV show could occur, but again, not until after Activision has had time to see if the game does well. So that is basically all I have for you guys today. Tell me what you think about this stuff down in the comments below. I'm curious what you guys have to think about this. Do you think they'd make an Academy Season 4? Do you think they'd make a brand new TV show? Do you think they would bring it back at all, even if the Skylanders games did really well? I'm really curious to know what you guys have to think. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Portal Master. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out my Twitter and Instagram down in the description below, and go hop in the Discord if you're feeling social. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching. I just wanted to take some time to thank my generous patrons on Patreon, including APYT Skylanders, Haley, Cinderclash, Adrian, OctoBoom, True Blue Dogemon, and HypnoticOcelot.